Lots of stories. We were up late last night breaking an exclusive story on the Ignition News. I cracked an exclusive breaking news headline that we're going to recap briefly today. I'm getting a lot of heat for that story today in my local community of Las Vegas. But before I do that, I want to say thank you for joining us on the Ignition News. It's got to be a quick show today, so let's get into it. Hey, some fun facts about today, February 1st. Today is the start of Black History Month. So that's really cool. On this day, 4 African-American students sat down at a whites-only lunch counter in Woolworths in North Carolina. Their refusal to leave sparked a nonviolent protest that changed the course of American history. It is National Freedom Day, by the way. This eventually led to signing the 13th Amendment. And in 1865, John Rock became the first Black lawyer admitted to practice before the United States Supreme Court. So lots of important history then. On this day in 2003, the space shuttle Columbia tragically disintegrated. Sorry, I'm struggling with words there. During re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere, tragically claiming all the lives of all 7 astronauts on board. And this was the grand opening of the U.S. Supreme Court, where it convened its first session in New York City. If you're into Zodiac, it is Aquarius season. People born today are often considered rebel traditionalists, independent thinkers who value freedom, but have a deep respect for core values. So any Aquarii in the stream on the news today, let me know. So let's get into the news today. Good morning, everyone. It's really good to have you. Starting out today with breaking news from Las Vegas, Nevada. This is a story we broke exclusively on the Ignition News last night. On January 31st, 2026, the FBI and Las Vegas Metro Police raided a home in Las Vegas in what they are calling a potential biolab. Sheriff McMahill says that at this time, the community poses no risk. However, here exclusively on the Ignition News, we broke dramatic reporting about the house in Las Vegas. Here's what we know so far. In 2022, this house in Las Vegas was sold to a shell company. And what we now know is that Zoyan Wang and David He operated and owned a shell company which owned this house. And you're saying, why are you telling us this information? Well, that is because those two are Zoyan Wang is actually a fugitive from the United States government right now. David He, or Jesse Zhu, as he is also known, is actually in federal custody right now, facing felony counts for 2023 arrest. So here's what we found out. The house in Las Vegas was originally purchased by Wang, and then it was transferred into a shell company that's owned by Jesse Zhu, or he's the registrar. And both the buyer and the seller of the home in Las Vegas have the same address. So this is your classic Las Vegas shell company. All that is to say, this is only going on public records right now, but it appears, allegedly, that the home that was raided in Las Vegas right now belongs to the same 2 individuals who have accused to have been operating a illegal biolab in Reedley, California. And you may remember this story because there was a government official was conducting an inspection at this warehouse in Reedley, California. They discovered a garden hose sticking out, and they're like, that's weird. I wonder what's going on here. Well, they got into the Reedley warehouse, and they found a sprawling biolab. I know this sounds very conspiracy theory. I know. Every time I've been talking about this, I just know people are like, oh my God, crazy man with beard talking about bioweapons, like all this stuff. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. Listen to the story, okay? So they discovered thousands of vials of biological material. It was labeled in Mandarin and English. Some of them said HIV, malaria, dengue fever, hepatitis, and a freezer, by the way, in Reedley. When they were cleaning up the Reedley facility, they found a freezer that was labeled as Ebola. The craziest part of all this story is that the CDC never tested any of the materials that they found in the Reedley facility. They just destroyed all of it. They just destroyed it all. What's also wild is they found about 1,000 genetically modified mice. This is crazy stuff. So all this is to say, what no one else is reporting, and it's being reported exclusively on the Ignition News, is based on our research. Here is what we know. Okay. The house that was raided yesterday on Sugar Springs Drive was originally purchased by Zoyan Wang, who is the lover and business partner of Jesse Zhu. Zhu is currently under arrest and in federal custody for fake COVID tests and a bunch of other charges. Wang fled to China. She's facing 23 years of her own. her own charges. Okay. So yesterday, Vegas, the FBI raids that Vegas house. They say, hey, not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Interestingly enough, by the way, yesterday Metro was getting out and they were saying, hey, we're doing a raid in East Las Vegas. It's not ICE. And I think now what we now understand is they probably said that because they didn't want to have people coming to that to protest ICE, which I'm going to say, like, that's actually smart. Like, credit where credit's due. Imagine if a bunch of protesters had showed up to what could potentially be a biolab in East Las Vegas. That's pretty insane, if you ask me. Nonetheless, Jesse Zhu also has an alias named David He. That's a fake name that he uses. David He is the registrar of the house, the LLC that now owns the house that was raided in Las Vegas yesterday. This is wild. And the media is not reporting this. You heard about it here on the Ignition News. You heard about it here first. So we know that a house was raided in Las Vegas, that even they are saying it's a potential biolab. We know that they found a refrigerator full of a bunch of, biological material. And everyone said, don't worry about it. It's fine. Totally fine. Just a secret biolab in East Las Vegas run by Chinese fugitives who also ran a secret biolab in Reedley, California with a bunch of vials that said HIV, dengue fever, malaria, and a bunch of 1,000 genetically modified mice. No cause for concern at all. You heard it first. You heard it first on the Ignition News. This is a quick reminder. If you're tuning in on any of our live streams, please consider following us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube Podcasts. We do need to grow the show. We've got a goal. I got a goal. I got to close in that 1,000 mark on Spotify. So go ahead and click subscribe. So I'm gonna pause right now. Go to your favorite podcast platform or go to theignition.news. I'm waiting. My dog's waiting now too. And click subscribe. Once you listen to an episode, go click that rate button, talk about how wonderful my beard is. And tell you what, if you leave a comment on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I'll read it on the next show. So please go ahead and follow along. Let's get on to the next stories. Good morning, everyone. I just want to let you know that I appreciate you so much. And I appreciate the community we're building over here. Massive news in Texas. Breaking big news. This is actually really good news. If January was a terrible month for you, we closed out January with a resistance bang. Let me tell you all about it. In Texas, Taylor Remick flipped a Texas Senate seat in a district that the president, Trump, won by 17 points. This is Tarrant County, the largest Republican county in the nation, by the way. An Air Force veteran and union organizer just beat a Trump-endorsed candidate by over 14 points. That is like, what, a 31-point swing in a district that he won just over a year ago. We got a young, vibrant union organizer. Remick is a 33-year-old aircraft mechanic who works on F-35s for Lockheed Martin. He's a labor organizer, and on Saturday, he won Texas Senate District 9 with 57% of the vote. That's amazing. This was not supposed to happen. So for all of you who had like a really rough January, when we organize, when we get out on the streets, and when we collect and we get to the ballot boxes, we can win, and we can win. This is a good reminder that our show is sponsored by Ignite, Fighting Fascism in the Age of Its Rise. Ignite is our signature podcast where we teach you how to do exactly that, how to push back, how to show up, how to run for office, how to fix the pothole in your front yard. So if you want to organize in your community and flip a district and take democracy back, or better yet, wrestle control away from the Democrats, go download Ignite. It's totally free. Here's what matters. Remick didn't win because of like a national wave. This was not a huge election. This was an off-cycle election, and he won because he organized. He talked about issues that really mattered locally in Texas. And this was in spite of the fact that there was a huge winter storm in the area, by the way, that shut down polling locations. Now, the Republicans are probably going to say, oh, it was because of the storm that we lost, blah, blah, blah. But nonetheless, it's a massive victory. We need good news, and this is definitely good news. Let's get on to the second story. This is also good news. Liam is on his way home. 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos is home. On January 20th, Liam and his father, Adrian, were detained by ICE. This is that famous photo of the 5-year-old wearing the little bunny hat. They were taken to a South Texas residential family center in another Texas connection, which is over 1,200 miles from their house. DHS says Adrian fled on foot, abandoning his child. But school officials have said the exact opposite. Adrian said he would never abandon his son, saying, I love my son too much. And here's what we know. A 5-year-old child was taken from his home and basically used as bait to catch his father. And then he was transported 1,200 miles away to Texas. And he was held there for 2 weeks in very poor conditions. But there's good news. On Saturday, a district judge ordered his release. And so Liam is home. Liam and Adrian boarded a plane Sunday morning from San Antonio, and now they're back in Minneapolis. And just like the case we reported yesterday, everyone says, oh, we support immigration. Just do it the right way. Adrian and Liam were both here on a legal pending asylum case. Just like the 31-year-old who was apparently, who ICE said, quote, ran into a brick wall and smashed his head in the front, the sides, and the back. Also here legally. Now, we don't know what the future maintains for Liam or for his father, but we do know that the pattern here is quite clear from the government. Terrorize community, arrest people under false pretense, shift them away from their home, their family, deprive them of resources and health. But when we pay attention, when we focus, and when we fight back, we win. We win. Welcome to the Ignition News, everybody. It is Sunday morning, February 1st. I'm feeling pumped about February. We can only have a good month if we believe we can have a good month. I do want to shed some light on some darkness here. We talked about Bovino the other day. Greg Bovino, obviously the Border Patrol commander. We have a kind of a weird, creepy story about him. There's an email about Bovino. In 2018, Bovino received an email from Border Patrol agent Christopher Bullock. The email contained a photo of Confederate General William Mahone, a slave-owning Virginia general, with the caption, quote, Chief Bovino. The email also included a photo of Confederate reenactors in gray uniforms around a Confederate battle flag captioned NLL, All Hands Meeting, and a photo of Black Union soldiers captioned NLL Section HQ. NLL is a code name for the New Orleans sector. What Bullock was saying in this email was the white agents are Confederate soldiers, the black leadership are Union soldiers, and Bovino is the Confederate general leading them. What was Bovino's response? Oh, geez, delete them. Yeah. Did he report it to his supervisors, you may be asking? No. Did he investigate it? No. Did he say anything racist about it? Also no. So you got Greg Bovino getting an email basically calling him a Confederate commander, and just as he is derelict in his duty in Minneapolis, he doesn't do anything about it. Finally, let's go on, shed light into an additional story. I want to talk about Gaza today. After 16 months of dismissing, denying, and downplaying the death toll in Gaza, after accusing the Gaza Health Ministry of inflating numbers, after Joe Biden himself said he had, quote, no confidence in Palestinian figures, Israeli military officials have now acknowledged that approximately 70,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza. We know that the number is likely much higher. I have seen numbers much higher than that number. And of course, the October ceasefire, right? And since the ceasefire, there have been about, 500 deaths since the ceasefire. The latest round of casualties, now we know 30 people in the latest round of casualties since the ceasefire. There was a Saturday strike which hit shelters and tents for displaced individuals, residential apartments, and a police station in Gaza City. We know that killed at least 14 people. Now, I bring this up because the parallels here are important. If you cannot see the parallels between what is happening in Gaza with the IDF and what is happening in America with the ICE, then you simply aren't looking. Number one, we know that they're lying about the numbers. Number two, we know that the United States is lying not only about its own deportation numbers, but about the sheer toll of the chaos that it's wreaking on our communities. And while even now Israel is acknowledging the number of 70,000, we know intuitively that it's possibly much higher. And we know intuitively that even the worst stories we report about what ICE is doing in the United States of America, well, this is only what we know about from the people who have been courageous enough to tell us the truth. 31 people died yesterday during a ceasefire. Of those 31 people, 6 of those were children. Israel calls these, quote, precision strikes. These are human beings. So, how does this tie together? Well, in Texas, you have working people organizing against institutional power and money. In Minneapolis, you have the legal system pushing back with immigration advocacy groups who literally rescue a 5-year-old 1,200 miles away, also in Texas, by the way. You have Greg Bovino, who doesn't seem to mind the fact that his employees are joking about him being a Confederate general. And in Gaza, after 16 months of denial, now Israel itself is finally admitting that it has killed 70,000 human beings. And that in spite of operating under what it calls a ceasefire, it is now simply killing more Palestinians and calling it precision strikes. And just like in the United States of America, we only know about what we are being shown. But there is hope today. On February 1st, 2026, Taylor Remmett won in Tarrant County because people decided to show up. Liam is home because people decided to show up. And the Gaza death toll is now known because people decided to be brave, to witness, and to count, and to hold people accountable. When we organize, when we build community, and when we push back, we win. The reason that this administration is advancing its authoritarian agenda is because business leaders, politicians, and the powerful are simply not giving any meaningful pushback. That, my friends, is us. You didn't choose that. Some of you didn't even want that. But as you look out on your streets, you can see now in Las Vegas, as an example, the toll of not holding your government accountable. Let me close this out with one example. We knew about the Reedley Biolab in 2023. The name on the house in Las Vegas is quite literally the same name. Ask yourself, why is the government so focused on the interest of billionaires, the ultra wealthy, the ultra connected? Why are they protecting all of those people on the Epstein list when in our own backyard, there are real dangers that were apparently all out in the public record? And the answer is simple. It is because ultra connected, ultra powerful, and selfish people have wrestled away control of our systems, our government, our tax dollars, and our governance. And we must wrestle that back. Whether that is on the streets, whether that is at the polling, whether that is running for office, whether that is supporting a local legal organization. January came at you like a hammer. It did. January came at you like a hammer. And of course, as always, I have to point this out on Rebel Radio and the Ignition News. We are a nonviolent organizing group. But the state can inflict unlimitless violence against you without accountability, without repercussion. And then they'll call you a terrorist when they do that. That is why it is important for us to have spines of steel to stand up and to show up anyway. Listen to me, friends. January was a devastating month, but February starts with some sunshine. So go out, be optimistic, organize in your communities, and refuse to back down. Let's find more people to bring home. Let's find more truth to expose. Let's find more streets for our feet. This is our country. It belongs to us. This is the Ignition News on February 1st, the first story, the first report of the month. This month is only going to be as good as we force it to be. So let us go out to the streets and force some good. Have a good day, everyone.